again guys, welcome back to the channel. In today's video we're taking a little bit of an adventure out in the media hype train Airbus H135 helicopter mod. As you can see, we're all dolled up in our BBC World News livery. We're currently on the ground at Newcastle Airport, and the aim of today's video, we're heading out towards the south, towards the Angel of the North, on some photo ops for the BBC. They want some stock footage of the Angel of the North for a future programme. So as I say, we're currently here on the ground at Newcastle. We're going to head out to the south. We'll overfly St James's Park and the Tyne Bridge as we go. We'll get our photographs of the Angel of the North, do a few laps around the monument, and then we'll come back towards Newcastle for a landing. It should be a really good opportunity to test out the H135, see how good of a job it does at simulating a helicopter within Microsoft Flight Simulator, and hopefully it should be a little bit of fun as well. I do hope you enjoy the video. If you do, please consider giving it a like and subscribing to the channel. If you have any comments or questions for me, please leave them down in the comments section below. But now we'll get ourselves on board the H135 and get the helicopter started up. So welcome to the cockpit of Destroyer 121's Airbus H135 helicopter. As you can see, we've just got on board the aircraft. We'll get the aircraft started up. So we'll first turn on the batteries. Waiting for the Garmin units to initialise. And before we do anything else, we'll first grab the ATIS, see what the weather's doing here this morning in Newcastle.
Newcastle Airport information, Sierra 0700 Zulu. Wind 19 at 5. Visibility 6. Sky condition. Few clouds at 1,100 feet, few clouds at 4,700 feet, few clouds at 11,700 feet. Temperature 5. Dew point 10. QNH 29.94. ILS runway 25 in use. Landing and departing runway 25. VFR aircraft say direction of flight. All aircraft read back hold short instructions. Advise controller on initial contact, you have Sierra.
Okay, so as you can hear, they're using runway 25 here this morning. A little bit chilly, 5 degrees. QNH is set and we have a very light wind out from the south. So that's all good, we are ready for the start. Just checking that the rotor area is clear, which it is. We've got our 2 ground attendants currently. So the beacon light can come on. We've got the collective unsafe warning at the moment, so we'll just reset our collective. And we'll engage the engine 1 starter. So engine 1's spooling up, keeping an eye on the engine parameters as it does so. And we have a light off on engine 1, so monitoring the N1, waiting for around 25% for the engine to stabilise. Oil pressure's looking good now. And the ammeter load has come back to normal. There's our 25%, so we'll start engine 2. And again we have a good light off on engine 2, oil pressure's coming up into the green. Waiting for it to stabilise around 25% N1. Ammeter load has come back. And we have 25% N1 on both engines, so 2 good starts. We'll call up ground and we'll request a departure out to the south.
Newcastle ground Golf, India Tango Bravo Sierra, with Tango request taxi to the active departure to the south.
Golf, India Tango Bravo Sierra taxi to it, hold short of runway 25 using taxiway Golf, Alpha Charlie Charlie Echo Delta
taxi to an old short runway 25 using taxiway Golf Alpha Charlie Charlie Echo Delta 5 Delta 4 Delta 3 Delta 1 Tango Bravo Sierra.
Okay, we're going to completely disregard those taxi instructions. We have a holding point just off at our 4 o'clock there, as you can see. So we'll hover taxi our way over there and we'll hold short. Carry out the before takeoff checks. So we'll engage the FADEC. The taxi light can come on, as can the pitot heat. Just waiting on the N1s to come up to 100% and green, which they now are. So we'll slowly come up on the collective, feeding in a bit of left rudder as well, just to account for the torque. And we're up. Keeping a very close eye on the guy off to our right. We'll swing around him. As I say, we'll just hover taxi our way out to the holding point. Overall, I have to say the helicopter already feels really nice to fly. It does at times feel a little bit digital in terms of its flight model, and there's definitely a few concessions there at the moment, but given that helicopters aren't supposed to be even potentially possible yet in the sim, I think that the developer has done an absolutely excellent job. And it's really nice to have a rotary aircraft in the sim as well. Obviously there's lots of nice scenery to explore, low level and low speed. So we'll just get ourselves settled back down on the taxiway. We'll call up the tower. And we'll request a takeoff for a departure out to the south.
Newcastle Tower Golf, India Tango Bravo Sierra ready at runway 25 south departure.
Golf, India Tango Bravo Sierra cleared for takeoff runway 25 south departure approved.
Cleared for takeoff runway 25 Tango Bravo Sierra.
Okay, we're clear for takeoff, landing light on. We're not going to bother with the strobe light today, as it does leave a slightly annoying visual effect in the cockpit. We'll just zoom out slightly on the MFD so you can see our flight plan route. We'll clear on final. Let's clear up wind as well. So again, slowly coming up on the collective, feeding in some left rudder. And we're up. So we'll just hover taxi out to the runway and then we'll depart off runway 25. We'll maintain runway heading until we're through 500 feet and over the departure end, and then we'll turn out towards the south. Looking initially for a heading of around 147 out towards St James's Park. And as I mentioned in the introduction, we'll fly overhead St James's Park, over the Tyne Bridge, really just for a little bit of a spot of sightseeing, and then we'll make our way over to the Angel of the North to get our photos. So again, a very slight crosswind out from the south. Coming up on the collective now, we'll start building up some speed and transition into forward flight. So all the way up on the collective now, letting the aircraft transition from the hover into forward flight, as I say. And easing off that rudder as well. Building up some airspeed and we'll start slowly climbing away. Won't climb very high today, obviously the whole point of the flight is to take in the scenery, so we'll level off around 500 feet above ground level. We'll climb at 60 knots for now, or thereabouts, until we get through 500 feet. And just come up through 500 feet now, so we'll turn onto our heading of 147. We'll level the aircraft off and allow the speed to build up. And you can see we're well out to the right of our planned track at the moment, so we'll come around onto a heading about 120 for now. You can already see the city of Newcastle off the nose. And just coming back on the collective a little bit more, we don't want the speed to get too high. Nice little lake passing below us on our right. This is why a helicopter is so nice to have in this sim. So much detail and scenery to take in, it's much more interesting at low level. You can already make out the River Tyne off the nose, off in the distance. Just feed in a little bit more power. We really want to get the speed up to around 110 knots or thereabouts. A little bit of a residential area, and then what looks to be a bit of an industrial area just off the nose. Looks like a bit of a running track there off at our 2 o'clock with a football pitch just out to the right of that. But of course we're first heading for the most important football pitch in Newcastle. And on flight plan track again now, so bringing our course back round to the right. Just needing to feed in a little bit of right rudder here to keep the aircraft coming around. And passing over what I presume is the actual St James's Park. I could be entirely incorrect on that, but looks like a public park. You can already see the stadium just out to the south. So speed's good now. We'll come back slightly on the collective, try and keep the speed around 110, 120 knots. So this is St James's Park, just top of our 1 o'clock. We'll try and get a good view of that as we pass by.
Tango Bravo Theater, you are leaving my airspace. Frequency change approved.
So there's St James's Park, obviously the home of Newcastle United.
Frequency change.
And then we have the Tyne Bridge just passing down below us on the left right now. And we'll continue around out towards the south, heading towards the Angel of the North. Just feeding in a little bit more power again, the speed's dropped a tiny bit. We're down to around 90 knots at the moment. And over the River Tyne, of course, as we cross the Tyne Bridge, so leaving the River Tyne behind us, and indeed the bulk of the city of Newcastle. Passing over the town of Gateshead now. So keeping our eyes peeled for the Angel of the North, that should be coming up on the nose very shortly. Wondering if it's not just off at our 11 o'clock there. Nope, that's not it. So we'll just keep tracking south. Just altering our course slightly out to the right. Just using the navigation display for guidance right now. Interesting, I thought the Angel of the North was located in a much more rural location than it seems to be. And we should be passing overhead any moment. And of course, there it is, off at our 1 o'clock. So swinging the aircraft around to the left, try and lose a little bit of altitude here as well. Do a couple of flybys, we'll hover near the monument. We'll actually probably just bring the aircraft up to land as well near the statue, and then we'll head back towards Newcastle. We'll do one more flyby, then as I say we'll hover up nearby, and then we'll briefly land next to the monument. So we'll come past low level. Wind's out from the south, but it's only a couple of knots, so we'll probably come in from the south just to make the approach a bit easier. Actually showing around 7 knots at the moment, although it's falling again. So we'll just track outbound for a moment, just to give us a bit of room to come back in for the hover. Pylons just down below us, keeping a good eye on those. Always rather hazardous to helicopters, pylons. Coming up on the collective now as the speed comes back. Making sure we clear the tops of these trees. And just slowly approaching the statue, giving the photographer a good opportunity to get some good pics. And as I say, we'll just swing the aircraft around here. We'll briefly land at the foot of the statue, really just for a little bit of fun. Slowly coming back on the collective. And we're down. So there's the Angel of North in all its glory. Anyway, we'll get the aircraft back up in the air and we'll head back towards Newcastle. So once again, coming back on the collective, feeding in some left rudder. And we'll just climb in the hover to clear the treetops. Okay, so we are clear of the trees. We'll truck out to the west momentarily, build up a little bit of speed. So we've got some sort of power station just out off the nose. So request a full stop landing back at Newcastle.
Newcastle Tower Golf, India Tango Bravo Sierra is 900 miles southeast with Tango to land.
Golf, India Tango Bravo Sierra, Newcastle Tower. Make left traffic runway 25. QNH 29.904 with 183 and 7.
Enter left downwind runway 25 Tango Bravo Sierra.
So heading back in towards the city. Once that's on a left downwind for runway 25. We are coming in from the left, so that works for us. There you can see the city centre off the nose up ahead. So we'll fly the approach back onto runway 25. We'll slow down as we approach and fly along the runway, and then we'll just hover taxi our way back to our parking spots. Following the rail line into the city at the moment, as you can see. And again, the time bridge just off at our 2 o'clock. Little church down there, just passing off on our right. Again, so many interesting details to see in this sim, particularly now we have the UK update. If you are a UK flyer, there's plenty of scenery to check out. And we're passing over the Tyne River once again. Just tracking inbound towards the airport. The navigation display is showing 5 miles to run. So that'll be just over 2 minutes at the moment. And again, St James's Park just passing off our right currently. We'll come in on more of a base position for runway 25. Doesn't really make sense to join downwind from our present position. The wind's picked up quite a bit here. It's 15 knots now out from the southwest. You can see we are drifting slightly. You can already see the tower at Newcastle, which, if I remember correctly, is true to life. It does rather stand out. You can see it from quite a distance. So as I say, we'll just come out to the east slightly, just to join on a base leg for runway 25. Looks to be clear on final.
Tango Bravo Sierra cleared to land runway 25. Wind 183 at 7.
Cleared to land runway 25 Tango Bravo Sierra.
Okay, so we've got 7 knots crosswind now out from the south. Can definitely cope with that. So we'll start reducing our speed. Coming back on the collective. Losing some altitude as well, of course. You can already see the parking spot just off to the right of the windshield pillar there. And slowly transitioning into the hover. Don't want to bring the speed back too early, or we'll be on the runway for a long time and it'll take us forever to get to our parking spots. That wind's just trying to push the aircraft out to the right here, as you can see. Could have been a bit smoother there. Anyway, coming up from the collective as we transition into the hover. And our exit's just on the left. Just build up a little bit of forward momentum again. And vacating the runway, we can park the helicopter into wind, so we'll park and land in the direction that we're currently facing. Looks like our ground crew have given up and gone home for the day. Which, let's be honest, actually helps in Microsoft Flight Simulator as they're not in the way. We'll go and park up roughly in the same spot we were before. Okay, so just killing our sideways motion there. Just inch a little bit further forwards. Getting the aircraft stationary and coming back on the collective. And we're down.
Tango Bravo Sierra, contact ground on 121.73.
Going to 121.73 Tango Bravo Sierra.
Okay, we won't bother calling ground, but we'll turn the landing light off, pitot heat off, and the taxi light off, and we'll get the engine shut down. So we'll disengage the FADEC. Rotor's spooling down. We'll cut engine 2. Wait for that to run down. And we'll cut engine 1. So both the engines are running down. We'll get the beacon off. We'll get the batteries off. And we'll open up the doors. So there you go guys, I hope you enjoyed our little trip out in NVIDIA Hype Train Airbus H135 helicopter mod. Obviously we managed to get our photos and had a little bit of fun in the process. I have to say I'm really impressed with the mod. I think it's already done to a very high standard given the early stages of its development. Especially given that supposedly the sim can't currently handle rotary aircraft aerodynamics. Of course there is still room for improvement, but the mod, as I say, is really in its infancy at the moment. The project is looking very promising though, and already it's great fun to take up for a flight. As always, I'd like to thank any developer that puts their time and effort into any project for the community benefit. This mod, I think in particular, is a really great addition to the sim. Anyway guys, as always, I do hope that you enjoyed the video. If you did, please consider giving it a like and subscribing to the channel. If you have any comments or questions for me, please leave them down in the comments section below, and I'll do my best to answer them. Also, as I'm sure many of you may have noticed, I did slightly update the RT effects on the commentary for today's video. I get really mixed feedback regarding the RT effects in my videos, so I'd be really interested to hear your thoughts. Let me know if you think this is an improvement, or you prefer the previous effect, or you'd rather I just did away with the effects altogether. But for now, thanks very much, and I'll see you all again soon.